So I have a friend's birthday coming up in less than a week, and for her present, I plan on making her one of these succulents from my Cuddly Cactus Crochet book by Jana Whitley. This is a go-to book I have for presents, and it has 10 or 12 different designs. So I plan on making my friend this fairy cactus succulent. I think she would really like all of these spiky little tines that the succulent has poking up. And in order to make this, the yarn I'm going to be using is this random green that I just had in my stash. Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Cafe. Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the color Gold for the pot because I didn't have a good terracotta color. I've been trying to find a good terracotta color, but I have been unsuccessful.
But you were unsuccessful?
Obviously.
White Red Heart Super Saver yarn, and I tend to prefer Red Heart Super Saver yarn for Amigurumi because although it is a little bit rough and not suitable for blanket projects and things that are going to be worn close to the skin, it does stand really well. So it's not floppy, it creates a strong finished product that's perfect for things that you're just going to leave on your shelf. And then the book calls for a 3.25 hook. Mine is out in the car, so I'm going to be using this 3.5 millimeter because my yarn I think is also a little thicker than what is called for in the book. Okay, so I just finished the first one. This is supposed to be the longest one, and it took me a little under 18 minutes. Concern I now have is I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn. I definitely have enough yarn to complete it. I think I have another green that's very similar in color to this. If I do run out, I think I'm just going to keep going from smallest to tiniest spine using this color, and if I run out, I'll just use a different color for the rest of the spines. But yeah. So that is the two middle spines done. The first middle spine took me 9 minutes, and then the second one took me 8 minutes. And then this is the yarn belt update. I have 3 smaller spines to get through, so I'm optimistically hoping for 2-ish because I feel like I could make sort of a reasonable arrangement with 1 large one, 2 medium ones, and then 2 small ones, but we'll see how that goes. The last 2 spikes are done, and this is all I ended up with in terms of leftover yarns. These are the 2 spikes I made with it. I forgot to lap the time when I was done with the first one, but overall they both took me about 13 minutes to complete, and we're currently sitting at just under an hour of crochet time. So overall I have 7 of these spines, and now I'm going to move on to the pot. I will add the details to these spines and sew in the ends and sew the tops and everything when we get to the finishing stage.
1 hour later.
So the pot is finished. It took an hour and 15 minutes, a little over, to do all of this work, and then I also added some cardboard to the bottom just so it would, you know, stay flat when it needed to be. Something else you can do if you're making these, I've also seen people hot glue coins to the bottom, like pennies or like a quarter or something, just to give it a little extra heft. I chose not to do that because that would have taken extra time, and I didn't necessarily feel like it needed that extra heft. I've also put beans in mine, like I've hot glued beans on the bottom. I stuffed it with a combination of polyfill and some loose scraps that I had. These are both Red Heart Super Saver yarn, but the thicknesses are like kind of different. The gold is like a little bit thinner than the brown, and so the diameter, or diameter, the 2 radius, when you put 2 radius together of this, was supposed to be a little less than 3 inches, so 2 3/4 inches. I was not hitting that with the 5 rounds of increases that the pattern called for, so I added a 6th round of increase because the yarn was so thin. I needed room to sew the spikes in on the base. But because I added an extra round here where the yarn was thinner, this up here has kind of like a muffin top situation because this yarn is thicker. So I understuffed it purposefully so hopefully it would lay a little bit flatter, and so when I sew things on, hopefully it's not noticeable. I can't believe it took me an hour to do this, like over an hour. It's cute though. It took me 37 minutes. just to embroider this thing. I will say the embroidery part was actually pretty fast. The thing that took the most time is I didn't know what I wanted to use to do the embroidery. So originally I tried to use white yarn. It ended up being way too thick and just overall not a great thing to use. I tried to use some sparkly thread. I didn't like it, so I went ahead and used this white thread. And I think that I have looks rather similar to what's in the book. Pretty good stuff, but 37 minutes. Wow. So all the spines have been embroidered, and it's been like 3 hours and 45 minutes total. It took me about 50 minutes to do these 6, even though it took me like 30 minutes to do this one. My friend's birthday is tomorrow, and I really got to finish this, so I'm going to be using any time that I have to sew these onto the space. And that is the last step. Then we will be done. Okay, so first 3 are on. This tall spine was supposed to be in the dead center. It is very clearly not doing that. So I think we're gonna have to do like an asymmetrical thing. I don't know. We'll try and make it look good.